The Warriors got off to a hot start this season with a 5-1 record, but their fortunes quickly turned with one bizarre move after another by their coach Steve Kerr, and with the blink of an eye, they've lost 6 of their last 7 games. An unbelievable swing and a time of absolute misery for the fans who can hardly deal with such wild swings. But there are some silver linings to it all, and one of them is their 19th overall pick, Brandin Podziemski, who is quickly starting to show that he not only belongs in their regular rotation, but is showing serious signs of star potential. As always, sit back and enjoy, because this is about to be a good one. Podz hasn't played much to begin his career due to the Warriors' guard depth, but he got to enter for the final minute of a 10-point game that was essentially over with a little less than a minute left in the fourth quarter. Wait until you see what he did in that span. There's less than a minute left, the game is about to be over, Podz has nothing to lose and pulls up for a 3 in transition. Splash! With 40 seconds left, Podz comes around from the baseline for a DHO with TJD, drives down the middle, slows himself just before the restricted area for a very difficult floater with a hand in his face, and knocks it down. Tough. Here, Podz uses the closing elevator doors to get the inbound pass, takes one dribble and pulls up for another 3 with a hand in his face once again. Splash! The kid just scored 8 points in the span of 23 seconds. Are you kidding me? That's some Curry level explosive scoring right there. The deficit is now somehow down to 4 points. The Warriors pressure the inbounds pass, and who else but Podz sneaks in from behind to steal Slow-Mo's pass. This just got completely wild. Before Podz could get to the ball, however, Moses Moody gets his hand on it and takes his own contested 28-footer that barely grazes the rim. Come on, man. You've got to get the ball back to Podz here. Still, Podz rushes down, grabs the offensive rebound and takes a floater, but short arms it for a brick, and that would be the end of this all-exciting burst of energy. Unfortunate, but this little show would surely force Kerr's hands and get him into the rotation in the following game. As it would turn out, Curry suffered a minor knee injury that would force him out of the next game, and unless you live under a rock, you know what went down in that next game with Klay and Draymond both getting ejected due to a completely unnecessary scuffle, paving the way for Podz to suddenly take Klay's spot and become one of the primary options for the Warriors in the starting lineup. Let's see how this went down. Podz passes to CP from the left corner, then comes up to set a screen for CP, and you love to see the full contact screen that completely erases CP's man, forcing Cat to step up. CP fakes the 3, passes to Sarge for the give and go, and gets to the rim before dishing to Podz, who initially spaced out to give CP room to work, but then cut down the middle with his man falling asleep, made himself available, and finishes on his patented floater. This is excellent awareness by the rookie. Here, CP comes down in transition, dishes to Wiggins who takes and misses the 3, but watch Podz get in position for the offensive rebound while 4 white jerseys look on. Podz was a monster rebounder in college, and his nose for the ball appears to be translating well into the NBA. The Warriors get another great look at a 3 thanks to the second chance opportunity, but Dario's 3 rims out. Here, Podz ends up on a much bigger Slow-Mo on an island in the post, but notice the fight and making Slow-Mo as uncomfortable as possible. Ultimately, Naz Reid doesn't even realize the mismatch and simply dishes to Anthony Edwards, but the physicality of Podz is very encouraging from an intangible standpoint, because not all NBA players are about that life. It appears Podz is. Here, CP uses a high screen from Looney and makes a very dangerous pass to Podz in the corner, who uses another Looney screen, sees daylight, launches, and splashes. Looks like that 3-point shooting from the last game was no fluke, which is great news for the Warriors. Here, Podz looks to set a screen for Kojo, who isn't even looking in his direction, so quickly gets to the nail to receive the pass. Naz Reid sleeps while GP2 cuts to the rim, and Podz gets the easy assist on a wide open dunk. Great play, terrible defense by the Timberwolves. Sure looks to me like Reid is someone to target in the playoffs. Just something to keep in mind. Here, Podz is roaming on defense to provide help in the paint and even has the awareness to avoid the 3 seconds in the paint, and ultimately, he's in position to help deter a drive to the rim by Edwards, but he's a tad too far off of his own man. Meanwhile, Kuminga sags off of his man too much, allowing Edwards to find Reid on his drive. Podz actually does well to contest the shot, but Reid knocks down the 3. Kuminga has to better understand personnel here, as Reid is a much greater threat from the 3 than Slow-Mo. Slow-mo is shooting 20% from the 3 this season, so if he ends up with a corner 3, you live with that. This is the kind of attention to detail that is required for Kuminga to be an intelligent defender for the Warriors. Here, Podz makes himself available for a pass on the wing as the T-Wolves are in a 2-3 zone. Kuminga getting into the middle gets Cat's attention, leaving Loon open in the short corner. Podz makes the simple pass, and Loon rewards him with an assist by hitting the uncontested mid-range. If only Loon could hit this shot with regularity. Here TJD looks for a play but nothing develops. He sees Podz and runs a DHO from the left side. Slow-mo is too slow to keep up with Podz, who sees Gobert dropping on defense and elects to take a 10-foot floater and somehow makes it look easy. Believe me, that is not an easy shot, and Curry is really the only other player on this roster that can make a shot like this. If you like the content so far, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Watch the tandem of TJD and Podz work together on this pick and roll as TJD meets Slow-mo at the rim and forces a miss. Meanwhile, Podz is in the trenches trying to hold off the much bigger Gobert, fights him off, boxes him out, and pokes the ball away from him. This is such a gritty play that not even players who are bigger than him on the team makes with any consistency. So you love to see that dog in the rookie. Still, the ball is about to fall out of bounds, but TJD recognizes and quickly saves the ball right to Podz. This is beautiful. And all I can say is that if Saric was the anchor on this play, none of this happens and Slow-mo likely ends up getting a layup. Another DHO between TJD and Podz, who gets to the middle and dishes to GP2 at the wing, who calmly knocks down the open 3. Watch Podz here in transition as he surveys the floor, sees Slow-mo in front of him, quickly changes direction and attacks down the middle, and notice how TJD puts himself in front of Gobert to deny him the opportunity to contest Podz's layup attempt fully, and has just enough room to finish over the outstretched arms of Gobert. These two rookies have undeniable chemistry in the most subtle of ways. And would you look at that, as the tandem of Podz and TJD, their two prized draft picks of this season, have helped the team go on a 15-4 run against a strong Timberwolves team while playing without Curry, Draymond, and Clay. Wow. Hellbent on stopping Podz at all costs at this point, Slow-mo ices TJD's screen, Podz swings a cross-court pass to an open Kuminga, who launches the 3 and promptly hits the other side of the backboard. What the heck? Warriors have a strange defensive formation here. Podz is on Conley, Moody is on Milton, and CP is on Slow-mo. What? CP should be on Conley, Podz should be on Milton, and Moody should be on Slow-mo, just from a common sense standpoint. That said, Slow-mo gets a mismatch in the post and is about to get an easy look at the rim, but TJD comes over and erases the shot attempt. Do you see why I keep pleading for Kerr the charlatan to get this guy into the rotation? I'm starting to think various parts of the Timberwolves defense is heavily flawed, especially in transition, because what is this? They have 4 guys looking at the weak side while 3 guys are all kinds of open on the strong side. CP finds Moody and Milton steps up, but both Podz and Saric are now wide open. Podz sees daylight and decides to shoot rather than dishing off to Saric in the corner and knocks it down. Simple DHO into a roll on this play between Podz and Looney. Podz does well to keep his defender behind him before hopping into another floater over Cat, but the shot rims out. Conley looks for a DHO with Cat on this play but never gets the ball back, so he cuts away from the play to give Cat space, but he's a bit too casual about it. He needed to sprint out of there to force Podz away from the play, but that doesn't happen. Cat pump fakes Loon out of the play and thinks he's on his way for an easy 2, but Podz is there to take the charge. Great awareness by the rookie to be in position and sacrifice his body against a much bigger player. Again, Podz has the dog in him. Watch here as Podz uses CP as a screener to dart to the rim for an open layup, but Loon turns his head away from the play before even seeing what develops, squandering a golden opportunity for an easy bucket. He instead runs a DHO with Wiggins, who can't finish over Gobert's contest. Loon grabs the offensive rebound and resets the offense. CP probes and finds Wiggins in the corner, but Wiggins gets trapped by 2 defenders and dishes out to Saric, who gets the ball to Podz, who now has an ISO against Cat on an island with 4 seconds left in the shot clock. He doesn't panic, drives to his right before spinning to his left for yet another floater that gets a friendly bounce. Very tough, super poised. Podz loves to attack quickly in transition before a defense can set, and he does it again on this play as he sees both bigs out in the perimeter, which means there's no rim protection. All he has to do now is beat Conley off the dribble to get there, and he does just that for the tough and one. What Podz has shown in this game is that he is capable of creating his own shot and the potential to be a volume scorer in the NBA. Watch Podz on this play as he goes over the screen to prevent Conley from shooting a 3, switches to Gobert, and puts a body on the big man to prevent him from catching an open lob. The ball ricochets off the backboard while Podz is in a dogfight with Gobert underneath, and it's a turnover. I only wish some of the bigger players on the Warriors would show this kind of fight in the paint and on defense in general. Who do you suppose I may be referring to here? Another example of Naz Reid being an absolutely awful defender here, as Podz makes a simple pass to Saric in the wing, but for some reason, Reid sags off and jumps to the corner when Edwards was right there, giving Saric a wide open look at a 3 and he knocks it down. An absolutely terrible defensive possession by Saric on this play. Let's take a look. Conley uses Cat's screen, forcing CP out of the play and ending up on a switch against TJD. TJD can absolutely stay in front of Conley, but to avoid a complete mismatch, CP could have totally just gotten back in front of Conley with a hard hedge from TJD. This doesn't happen, and again, TJD does a great job of staying in front of Conley's drive and forcing him to reset. However, Cat smartly goes into the paint with CP guarding him now, forcing Podz to help. Because Podz's man is on the other side of the floor, Podz could easily recover even if Conley makes the cross-court pass, but watch Saric here as he points to the corner man. Then he points to his own man without realizing he should have never left him to begin with. What exactly was Saric trying to do here? I don't know, but my guess is that he's just not an anchor caliber player and simply got lost. Podz sprints towards Reid to contest, but Reid sees the closeout, pump fakes slightly, then has all the time in the world to take a dribble and knock down the wide open 3. This is one play, so it's fine. But imagine relying on Saric to be the anchor of your defense when he's doing this kind of stuff. Not to mention he can't guard anybody that gets into the paint area. This is not really a knock on Saric because he's a 4, but Kerr won't stop using him as a 5 and is really hurting the Warriors' defensive core. I'll have to do a separate video on this subject. Moving on, the Warriors have 4 seconds left on the shot clock for their final shot of the third quarter, so it's important to get the best shot possible on this possession. Kuminga gets it out to Saric, who dishes off to Moody, who throws up a prayer with the shot clock running out, and it's a miss. Cat gets the rebound but is about to fall out of bounds, so he tries to get it to a teammate, but Podz intercepts the pass, surveys the floor, sees nothing, brings it back out to the 3-point line, and there's basically no time left on the clock, so you assume he'll be lucky to even get a shot off at this point, and you wonder if he even realizes this fact. But then he pivots to his right and launches to hit the 3 high off the glass for the buzzer beater. Are you kidding me? That's some star level stuff right there. Remember when Podz took a charge against Cat earlier because Conley moved too casually to the other side? A similar thing happens to the Warriors on this play. CP dishes the ball to a curling Podz and then clears the floor. What needed to happen here is for Looney to wait a bit for CP to clear space before setting a screen, but he goes too early, which forces Podz to go too early, and CP's man Conley ends up clogging up the floor as the nail help and strips Podz clean with nowhere for him to go. Sometimes you have to exercise patience for plays to properly develop. I would say this one is on Loon. Ultimately, Conley gets out on the break, stops on a dime, and knocks down a 3 in transition to cut the lead to 4. Ouch. This one is crazy. CP gets completely free for an uncontested layup on a pick and pop play with Saric, but passes it up to find Podz at the wing. What? I get that CP is 38 years old, but this is insane. You can't pass up on an open layup. Take the layup, for crying out loud. Gobert is not a god. He's not blocking you from all the way out here. Anyway, Podz is really feeling himself at this point and launches with a recovering defender. Ultimately, I don't mind because he's had an amazing game, but Saric was also wide open for an even better shot if an extra pass was made. CP has the ball in transition and finds Podz on the opposite wing, and now Podz is doing a bit too much because Wiggins is wide open under the rim, so an extra pass would get the Warriors an easy 2 in a tie game situation, but he launches another 3 and it clanks badly. Here CP runs a pick and roll with Loon and draws 2, but with Loon not really being a threat to score, nothing comes out of this play. He then dishes out to Podz for a bailout situation with 7 seconds left on the clock, and Podz does just that as he drives against Conley to his right, takes 2 slow steps, draws contact, and then finishes over the outstretched arm of Gobert, soft off the glass. This is insane, as nobody outside of Curry can pull a move like this, especially in crunch time. I mean, really, this is different. This is gutsy. This is special from a 20-year-old rookie who was just starting his career. Here CP drives into a crowd and dishes out to Saric, who finds Podz at the wing. He passes up on the 3 and drives baseline for a really tough floater that grazes the rim. Watch here as Podz waits for players to get in position. Cat is following Loon to the rim despite Gobert telling him to switch off to Saric, so Gobert actually shoves Cat and forces him to guard Saric, but it's too late as Saric gets the pass from Podz and immediately launches a 3 and nails it. That's clutch. As clutch as the previous shot was, they relied a bit too much on Saric on this play as he attacks Cat but pulls back after running into Gobert. He dishes off to Wiggins, who gives it right back to Saric, who thinks about a 3 but thinks better of it and dishes to CP. But CP also takes a couple of dribbles and dishes it right back to Saric once again, who now has to shoot a 28-footer with a hand in his face with the shot clock winding down, and it's a brick. This one really hurt to watch, as the Warriors had an opportunity to take the lead with only 38 seconds left in the game. CP uses a loony screen past both Conley and Cat, has about 6 feet of space between him and Gobert, who was in complete drop coverage, to pull up for a wide open mid-range jumper. But he passes up on it and dishes to Saric in the corner, who gets his shot blocked by Gobert. You can't be serious. What happened to the mid-range god? That is a shot that CP just cannot pass up with a game on the line. He sold. Badly. More heartbreak for the Warriors as the Warriors break down defensively in what would turn out to be the nail in the coffin. First of all, it's the final possession, which means Wiggins had to find Edwards, who is their best scorer. Instead, he presses up on Conley when CP was right there to pick him up, forcing Podz to have to guard Edwards in the final possession. This is not a situation the Warriors wanted to be in, and it is on Wiggins to think ahead, show leadership, and be better as the team's primary POA. Notice Wiggins trying to at least get CP on Conley to match up better defensively, but CP for whatever reason brushes him off. Edwards runs a pick and roll with Gobert, but sees a trap forming by Saric and Podz, so he crosses back and comes around towards the middle of the floor. Meanwhile, you can see potential trouble brewing on the strong side as all eyes are on Edwards and 3 white jerseys are being unguarded. Edwards stops his dribble, pump fakes, gets Podz in the air with both Looney and Saric contesting, which means Wiggins has no reason to be ball watching here and standing in no man's land. Edwards finds a wide open Conley, Wiggins' man, near the corner, and he effectively ends the game with the biggest shot of the night. Disappointing possession for Wiggins defensively. All that said, this was a major coming out party for Podz, who finished the game with 23 points, 3 threes, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and a steal. He was easily the best player on the floor for the Warriors in this game. He showed he can carry an offense, come up clutch in big moments, can shoot with range, is an elite rebounder at his position, can get to anywhere he wants on the floor, has intangibles like hustle for loose balls, boxing out, and taking charges, and is wise well beyond his years despite being only 20 years old. Long term, he has star potential written all over him. As for this season, he wasn't expected to play due to the depth the Warriors have at the guard spots. But his all-around play and infectious energy has the coaching staff scrambling to find minutes for the impactful rookie. At this rate, he may even be ready to provide value for the team in the playoffs. A crazy thought, I know. If you enjoyed or found value in this video, be sure to subscribe, because content like this is coming to you on a weekly basis. Thank you for watching. Until next time.